And also, I've been using social media as my platform to also use my self-image in terms of promoting products. So I'm also a content creator and an online influencer. And aside from that, I'm also a product endorser. I endorse currently GT Cosmetics, and I'm also doing other products as well. So I was once also an executive committee of the 10 outstanding students of the Philippines. And yes, we have a license exam when it comes to being a host. So I was able to also get my licensure with that. So all throughout my journey of self-confidence, I started as a print and runway model in Models Association of Cebu. Back then, before joining this agency, I was actually very shy. My grandmother is actually watching right now. Ayla, she can actually attest to how shy I was growing up, and they were finding it hard for me to actually talk to them because I don't know, for some reason I just don't like socializing that much, and I wasn't that confident when it comes to my communication skills. This paved way when I joined the agency. This paved way to me having that opportunity to join a local magazine show, which is entitled Mag TV na. And since then, I think this particular show was really able to move me in terms of developing my confidence, because when I auditioned for this show, I wasn't really that confident yet about the skill. But what made me really go for it was that I'm confident to learn it. So the eagerness was there, the open-mindedness was there. So I guess that's one of the reasons that they chose me. And I'm really, really proud that I was the pioneer host of that show, that I really started that show. And we lasted for quite some time. The show ended 2 years ago, but it lasted for over a decade, 10 years of being part of this amazing platform of not just informing our viewers through our informative segments, but also inspiring them and doing a lot of interesting episodes. So I was lucky enough to be part of that. But luck for sure entailed a lot of hard work as well, because I auditioned to be part of Mag TV. So it wasn't something that was given or handed down to me. Another exposure I had, I also joined a competition in Manila. You may have noticed in this photo, Yasi Pressman was one of the contestants at the time. So I was also proud to be representing Cebu, and we luckily won as well in that hosting competition. This was way back when YouTube was not yet there, and PLDT was looking out for teenagers who can spearhead or who can be their face of their online platform. So we had a rigid of activities, series of challenges for a month. They gave us, we even did our own vlogging at the time. This was 10 years ago. So, but then obviously it wasn't that, what you call this? The platform itself, I think it was too internal. Nobody really saw it that much. But yeah, this paved the way to other opportunities as well. And with that, it honed me to really become confident on stage. And as you can see in this slide, the microphone has been like my tool in all of my events. It has been something that I always around with. And yeah, I always ask my students, if you see a microphone, if you hold it, how do you feel? Most of them feel really anxious because the microphone is a symbol of, or is a tool for public speaking. And people are always shying away from the nervousness or the emotions. They want to get rid of that. They don't want to really go out there and, you know, come out of their shell. It's been quite a journey, I must say. There was a time that when I started MagTV, I wasn't really that confident yet. I never accepted events because I wasn't that, I wasn't at my peak of confidence yet. So it's really a journey. And until such time, I felt that I'm ready. Okay, give me a microphone and, um, I'll do some events for you. And the rest was history. As the longer I do it, the more easier it gets. So the stage, the microphone, everything is now my playground. So I'm always excited doing it. With that, I've gained so much learning throughout the years, and I think I had that in me to also release something that I have learned in the past by teaching. So last year, I had an opportunity to be part of a big institution in Ateneo de Cebu. It was really my plan to see how it's like to become a legit teacher in a big school. So I taught marketing and entrepreneurship. It was quite of a journey. It was an interesting one because I got to learn how it's like. The tasks of a teacher is really not that easy because not only will you prepare the visuals, not only will you teach the students, you also have to make sure they understand you. And after that, when you go home, you also have to prepare for another day of class, different topics. So, but then all in all, it was a really wonderful experience because I've also learned from my students and they helped me also grow as a teacher because I really want to improve, especially that I'm doing SELFi. So I wanted also to improve that skill. So this is my recent news so far. And I'd like to share also a little bit about SELFi that I started way back in 2014. So it's been almost 6 years. So this summer, we're one of those businesses that got really affected by COVID because it's our season today. These times, like summer time is supposedly our time to do our workshops because a lot of kids and teens doesn't have really much to do. They want to be productive and they normally join our workshops because of that. But to me personally, why I made this school was really because growing up, there's a lot of frustrations that I have in our country because we're not really lucky enough to have those parks around that we can, run, jump, play. It's not even safe. It's not that safe, unlike other countries. I wanted SELFi to be a platform where all the kids and teens can be themselves. It's a workshop. It's going to be fun, but also I'm going to use it as a tool for them also to enhance whatever potentials that they have or also discover the potentials that they have. So I was able to, this is our vision, to let individuals be the self they've always wanted to be. It is our mission to develop one's personality beyond excellence and unleash the hidden inner talent. So every year, I actually invite other people as well to hop on or to join me in this mission to help those who actually need some extra boost of their confidence and self-esteem. So I invite some of my co-models in Models Association of Cebu, top makeup artists, also my fellow hosts in ABS-CBN. And these are the classes that I formulated. So basically, just to give you a brief overview, modeling, dancing, hosting, these are our top classes that we offer in SELFi. The reason why I used these subjects in particular, because as a psychology graduate, I also took up a psychology workshop. My grandmother was so alarmed. Hi, La. She was so alarmed that I don't know how to talk properly. And so she enrolled me in a personality development. At the time, I was like 7 years old. or 8. I'm not sure. I just remember she enrolled me because she really wants me to improve. I remember I didn't really understood much about what personality development was. It was too heavy of a word for me to understood. I couldn't really digest why it was a need for me. So right now, I think I could now relate to kids why it's gonna be harder for them if you tell a kid, for example, oh, dear, I'm gonna enroll you in a personality development. Of course, the kid will be like, huh? What is that? Right? They wouldn't understand what that is. And also for teenagers, for example, they could also react like, huh, there's something wrong with me, the I. Why are you enrolling me? So it can kind of there's a possibility that's how they will react. So with these titles like modeling, dancing, using these talent-based platform, it allows them to be more excited. It gives them more interest. So instead of using personality development as a term, why not use, oh, would you like to enroll modeling? So we use this kind of platform because it's more encouraging, more engaging for these for your children or for the kids and teens out there to enhance their skills. So, but the underlying workshop actually that we teach in modeling is personality development. So with the walking, you can enhance not just the walk itself, but also conquering your fears on stage. You also develop your communication skills with other members or participants, dancing as well. There's so much skills that you can or values that you can also enhance or improve in dancing. Everything here in our workshop that we offer are actually correlated to one another because you can't really be a perfect or a good model if you want to take it as a career if you don't know how to speak properly. So all of our workshops, we make sure that everything is a holistic approach. They come out of our workshop really enhancing a lot of themselves. So it's really all about improving them in order to become better people. So since it's summertime, we expect them that after our summer workshop, they at least become more confident in joining different organizations in school or different school activities, and which is really evident because I see a lot of the posts of our different parents sharing online their journey. Before my kid was so shy, now she's joining this and that. So it's really heartwarming for me as the founder and also a mentor that they came out of their shell and they're more comfortable with themselves, comfortable with any situation that is handed to them. So that's really the purpose of our workshop. And we always make sure that they have fun. So as you can see, we use different brands to partner with us. Like when they do modeling, we make sure that they really experience modeling. So I think we're the only ones who does this, that we collaborate with series of brands that they could wear on stage. And because what's the use of modeling if you're just wearing your own clothes? So you have to represent a brand somehow, or you're supposed to promote something. That's what modeling is all about, using your self-image. So here you can see that we do all these different group dynamics exercises. So we have acting workshop with the help of Ryan Playo. We have makeup classes. We partner with GT Cosmetics and Maybelline. Then we also have image branding. This is about online kind of content on how to improve your online content and how to make use of social media as well to generate income or to make use of your self-image to become more marketable here. So I think, these are the 6 workshops that we offer in SELFi. Actually, I don't allow my enrollees to just pick one because it happened before that they only enrolled one thing and then they sort of got jealous that they weren't able to tap or mold that set of skill. We also have experienced a student who wasn't that into dancing, but then we encouraged him to actually try it because that's the point, right? I mean, you cannot say na I'm only into acting, can I just join that? But this is a school that will help you improve other skills as well, because you're not supposed to be limited to one. So that was the whole point of it. So it took a while for us to convince that student until he realized that dancing was really something that he can, be passionate about. And we were so glad because he really changed. The transition and the transformation was really beautiful. Well, before he started the dancing workshop to the time that he tried it and he really did his best. I'm talking about a boy. Did his best, and yeah, he really blossomed on stage. So those are the things that I look forward to as their mentor, when they really all blossom and turn into a beautiful butterfly on stage. And yeah, in SELFi, all of them are equal. We don't, whatever height you are, you can be a model. Everyone here support each other. There's no competition. And yeah, they can be themselves because we don't judge you. So this is a very, very useful line. Once you become fearless, life becomes limitless. And it is very much relevant to our topic tonight, which is self-confidence, because a lot of the time we hinder ourselves to do something because of a lot of doubts and a lot of fears, like fear of failure, fear of being judged, fear of being criticized. Those are the things that could stop us from doing what we wanna do. But then that also allows us to that also limits us from achieving our goals. So with this workshop, I hope you will learn a thing or two from me. Why don't we start by self-reflection? So I want you all to think about what you have right now. Think of the things that you can celebrate about yourself. Or what I mean is, what are your strengths? You can actually list them down if you want. These could be your talents. These could be anything that you're good at. So you list it down to the things to celebrate. That means you have already conquered them. These are the skills that you are already victorious and are already confident about. Now, on the other side, also list down the things to improve about yourself. You can list 5 or more, or maybe, 1 or 3 would also be. Start by doing that, because when you do your self-reflection, it allows you to dig deeper and to also evaluate yourself every now and then. You have to know how to assess yourself, because no one else will do that for you. No one else knows you better other than yourself, not even your parents. So think about what you're good at. Think about what are the things that you still need to improve on. You start from there. Okay, I hope you wrote something down.
This is where a pen and paper comes in handy, guys.
Yeah, you can use pen
I
and
told
paper.
them to maybe have a pen and paper.
Yeah, you can get a pen and paper to list down what are the things that I need to work on. So these are the lists of my strengths, and then the other side, list down also what are your weaknesses. Like, for example, me personally, I was so weak at cooking. I wasn't confident in the kitchen area. And with our pandemic now, it is a big, realization that is very essential to actually learn how to cook. So it's actually it's a lot helpful to really reflect upon these things, because what we're dealing here right now is really allows us to be one with ourselves, and we can be emotionally and mentally vulnerable with the situation right now, but um, we have to know how to divert our minds so as we can be more positive about how to deal with your day-to-day life. So what I've been doing right now is, from the things that I need to improve on are my weaknesses such as cooking. So I make sure that I will be able to transfer it to the list of my things to celebrate. And now, I'm not yet really confident that much, but I can actually say that I know how to cook na good because I've been doing some cooking as well lately here at home. And baking, after 30 years of existence, karon pa ko, it's just now that I tried baking, and I'm actually very glad that it's not that hard as it seems. You just need to really try it. So yeah, it's my weakness before, but now I'm very happy that I'm able to discover that side of me and see what I could do. And I'm actually been sharing a lot of my baking journey as well. It's actually nice for your mental health to, do something that is worth your while. I end up feeling really good about myself for, doing something that's productive. Also, it's not something you force yourself as well, because this pandemic can also be a time for you to, enjoy and relax, because maybe your body physically has been um, asking for it. Or yeah. All right, are you done writing? All right, so I'll proceed to the next part. Okay, so once we let's go about the different factors that makes up a person. So your personality is affected, or is being the blending factors that makes up a person on the confidence wise, or the ingredients of being a confident person is you need your parental genes, like for example the skills that has been passed down to you. So these are the things that, like for example, you're good with music because you have a dad or a mom who's a good singer, or good in musical instruments. So these are the things that you can be also acquire. So it's genetic. Also, the second factor that makes up a person is the environmental factors. And we're not just talking about your school, we're not just talking about your friends, even your mobile phones, even the things that you interact with online can also affect your self-esteem or your self-confidence. In fact, anything that you see online can instantly ignite something, or can instantly pull you down, diba, when you post something, or when you share something and then people will react to it, will criticize you and all that. It can affect your self-esteem. But also, the third factor, which is the most important part, is your personal response. Out of the three factors that makes up your self-confidence, only the personal response is the controllable factor. So we can't stop people from, or the environment to actually affect us, because it will really affect us. But it's up for us on how to deal with these different kind of factors. So first of all, let me define what confidence is. When we say self-confidence, it all starts from believing in yourself. So, but I categorized it into two parts, because it's not enough that you only believe in the things that you celebrate. Remember, I asked you to write down what are the things to celebrate. So all of those things you are already confident that you can do. Those are your strengths. But confidence is also believing on what you can potentially learn or do. What I'm trying to say is, even if you don't know that you you are good at that particular skill, but you're confident that you can learn it and you're confident that you can actually do it and you see yourself doing it. It's just that you haven't acted upon it. That is also self-confidence. And believe it or not, it was my ticket. My self-confidence was my ticket in order to have that TV show, because I remembered vividly, I never had a hosting experience in the past. Even in school, I never tried that, being on stage, holding the microphone and talking to a big crowd. The most hosting that I did was just in the classroom, and the reporting, when teachers ask you to report, and I feel very, very nervous about it, even if just in a small setting. But yeah, I saw myself one day. I was looking at the television, and I admired a lot of artistas actually back then. Of course, Kapamilya. I remember Tony Gonzaga. I look up to her in terms of hosting. I also look up to a lot of really good hosts in their own TV shows like Oprah Winfrey, and you see them, and I always wondered how comfortable they are speaking in front of so many people. It always makes me wonder, how did they come rather to that point of being so comfortable? Like, it's as if it's a regular thing, It's like they're just at home or speaking to a friend. And I never feel that way, because trust me, when I'm getting assigned to speak in front of a crowd, I get really anxious and nervous. So it wasn't my thing back in the day. But one thing that made me decide to actually go for that audition is that I told myself, but wait, how come they can do it and I can't? That's how it started. I was always wondering, there shouldn't be like a difference between us, because I think I can do it as well. Like, what made them special? How about me? So it gave me that sense of open-mindedness. Oh, maybe I need to actually see myself and try it and see how it goes. Either way, I will learn something if I go out there and try. So yeah, I did go for that audition, and I remember I was asked by the person behind the camera when I did the VTR. So tell us about yourself, and then I told them everything about myself, and then, but I was really, really super honest with them when they asked me, "Do you know how to host?" My answer was, honestly, I haven't done any hosting ever since in my entire life. But, so I gave them this assurance, but I'm the type of person who's really very eager to learn that skill, and I'm gonna do the very best that I can to hone and develop that skill and to perform what is expected of me for that show. So I guess it was clear to them that out of all the other auditionees who already know how to host, they were also looking for someone who is still raw, who has more energy to consume. Because, for example, I'm like an empty USB. I'm so ready to absorb all the files that is needed for me to work. So it goes both ways as well, because people who are already experienced can tend to be overconfident. So there's a lot of good qualities of being raw as well. So don't be afraid if you feel like you lack experience, because either way, if you're just eager to learn, there's so much you can do about your weaknesses. So you can still improve that, as long as you believe that everything will be learned, because anything can be taught, really. You can learn anything in this world, and we're very much lucky enough that we have these kind of platforms such as what we're doing now. and on YouTube. Like me personally, before I go to sleep, I always make sure that I look up something that will make me learn and yeah, can be of great use. So you can also look up online and discover some, some pages or some other, um, what do you call this, platforms wherein you can enhance your skill. So I have been able to trim down our workshop into this particular topic. Having that growth mindset is very important in order to gain self-confidence. You have to realize that every day is a different day, and you have to realize that as long as you're open-minded and as long as you think that you can learn, even if you will, for example, in a competition, even if you won't win, if you have a growth mindset, you will learn out of the experience. So I have had so many experiences as well that I wasn't really happy or satisfied with my performance as a host, but it paved the way also to me reflecting what are the things that made me feel that way. So I also thought, oh, I need to improve my, my tone of voice, so things like that. And yeah, confidence is not something that will happen overnight. It's something that will happen over time. As long as you constantly grow and find yourself learning from time to time, you will get there. So always have a growth mindset. So I have trimmed down so it's easy for us to remember that in order to be confident, it's more than just believing in oneself. So you have to start with letter G in the grow. You have to go out there and try because you'll never know unless you try, right? So either way, if you don't get that opportunity, maybe it's not for you yet, maybe it's for someone else. Again, every day is a different day. Maybe tomorrow you have your chance or the next day. So you just have to constantly believe in yourself. Never let anything to affect you or to pull you down. Um, I have experience in Manila. A lot of VTRs are happening there because it's the national. It's the hub for commercials, and every day I receive a text about different VTRs there. I actually went there for some reason. I came across with my SELFi student who has been doing a lot of commercials, who I'm very proud of. Her name is Jasna, and I saw her there, and we were talking. And I asked her, how many times do you actually do these VTRs? Because a lot of people audition for those roles because you can really get big money for one commercial. You get like the minimum of 100,000 and just a few seconds of exposure. So she's been doing that for a living and she's been doing really well. And it takes a lot of patience because you really have to go out there. It's like a jungle, and a lot of people are very eager, very they're also very equipped. They're also very good. You're out against a lot of good talents, and I see them and they're so patient and eager to really try it out. Even if they don't get the part, they still do it over and over again. And that's what she told me as well. She has been doing BTRs and she also has experienced a lot of rejections, but it didn't stop her until one day she had a lead role and it paved way to more opportunities for her as well. So you start by going out there and trying out. So you can list that down because we now proceed with this part. The letter R of grow. Repeat till you get it. So repeat. It's all about practicing. So if you want to hone a skill, you really have to do it over and over again. You have to repeat that particular skill until such time you develop that muscle in you and you already have, it's already part of your system. And that's really my trick in order to be confident in what I do, especially in hosting. So if everyone doesn't know yet, us hosts, we're actually given sets of scripts. Unless if the client wants us to make our own spills or make our own script, we actually charge them additional because scripting is a different set of skill because you have to make sure that you are promoting or you're saying the right things about a certain product or you're delivering the right message to your audience. So when we are handed down with script ahead, so usually a week before or a few days before, or sometimes a day before or on the day we get the script, me personally, for me to be confident going up there on stage and doing my part as a host, I really repeat the the words from the script and really open my mouth. Like for example, if I were to introduce a product, I make sure I say it properly. So memorization. I make sure that I understood as well. Usually we have a script, but we normally just understand first the flow, make bullet points of the different important topics, and from there I just grab all those important details and put it on my head and make my own program flow in my head. But then again, before I start the show, I always make sure that from start to finish, I know what's going to happen in the program. So from start to finish, I repeat over and over in my head the things that are needed to be said in the script. So yeah, there are times that I drive myself going to the event. I'm talking, talking inside the car. So maybe someone saw me from outside and think I'm crazy because I'm not on the phone, but I'm talking. But that's what I do. It's for my own good. So when I arrive at the venue, I'm already confident because even if I forget here, there are times that your tongue can remember. So it goes a long way when you constantly practice. And as we all know, the meaning or definition of practice is doing something repeatedly, doing something over and over again. So it's really helpful. Even in dancing, right? I mean, I love dancing, but like for example, the famous one right now I've been using this TikTok. It's actually a very nice app. I enjoy it a lot because I'm a very creative person. It allowed me to discover something also like in dancing. You look at the TV, people, on TikTok are dancing, and then you see yourself, I actually can do it. It looks so easy. But then when you try it, oh my gosh, it's not that easy, DI. But then as I do it over and over again, it becomes easier for me. So I would say I'm a fast learner. I'm the type of person who can easily adapt and who's also a quick thinker. So in hosting, it's also very important because you have to constantly talk and there should be no dull moment in every event. So it's your job to always entertain them and to always talk to them. So yeah, anything could happen also. I mean, you can follow the script, but in the middle or in between the segments, something might happen and it's your job to cover up like some technical issues. So you have to also be ready at all times to do an ad lib. It's called an ad lib. I hope you're getting all the things that I've been teaching so far. Next is overcome the challenges. So I'm gonna be very specific because when I say overcome the challenge, one of the things that will stop us is because of our emotions, like how we feel before heading to an interview, for a job interview. We feel so anxious, we feel so nervous. And I often get across people asking me, or my students asking me, Ate Blinks, do you feel nervous? Like every time you have an event to host? And my response is always, yes, I always feel nervous because I have a nervous system. That's number one. But kidding aside, it's actually true. Our nerves is there to stimulate us, to actually makes us feel more alive, you know. When I feel nervous, the thing that I always think about is, instead of feeling negative about it, I always think of thoughts that will make me feel excited about what I'm about to do. So excitement is also a kind of emotion that will make us feel nervous, right? So, but then excitement comes only when we're confident at something. So in order to overcome that fear of being nervous, or like for example, you have an exam tomorrow and you feel so nervous about taking it because you did not study, how do you overcome that challenge? Imagine when you study really, really hard, but you still feel nervous about tomorrow. It's actually not a negative kind of nerve, but you're excited. You can't wait to answer the exam because you have so much readiness in you already, and you can't wait to let it all out. So that's how I feel when I host. I feel nervous because I know we are all subject to failure in hosting. You know, people in the audience, they're just waiting for you to actually forget a word, or miss out on something, or worse is if you what do you call this, don't pronounce the right words properly. And that's one thing that people look forward to in the audience. So it's actually a great pressure on us, on our part, to really make sure that it's smooth and the flow is really well put together. But I don't want that emotion to overwhelm me. So what I do, little things, I first start with self-affirmation. I tell myself, okay, this is one thing that I have dreamed about, and I'm gonna conquer this because I can do it. From there, everything else comes easy. Because believe me or not, when you tell yourself, "Oh, it's really so hard, I can't do it," then you can't, because that's how you think about yourself. There's a reason why God created our head on top of our body, because it is the what you call this, it is how we decide, or it is actually the main, its main function is for us to get our minds to really focus on the things that we want to do. So aside from self-affirmation, I also, like for example, even the glamour side of things, like for example doing hair and makeup, which I enjoy a lot. Shout out to my makeup artists out there who are constantly very supportive of my events. All of you, thank you so much, Micah. Um, I look forward to that. So I'm very excited to get, dolled up. And these are, just minor things, but it actually changes my mood. So I become excited to do my event because I look forward to be glammed up. Yeah, but things like that, it actually matters. Sometimes I also see like an audience who are watching. And I remember there was a time that I felt so intimidated by these set of audience who are, I think they belong to a socialite class in Cebu. And mind you, Cebuanos are harder to please than other regions or other cities in the country for some reason, because Cebu is very well known to have, we all have that homegrown talents who have paved way, and they have been, the pride of Cebu because they have paved way to series of what do you call this, world renowned. We have world renowned artists in Cebu, so I think that sets the bar high in terms of performance for every talent. So I remember I have a friend who hosts in who's a host in Manila, who's really very good, but then when he comes to Cebu, he gets very nervous. He said that Cebu is really very hard to please and very hard for him to convince people to clap and to to make them smile and be entertained by the show. And I have overcome that, and I was able to somehow master that art, that there's a way, there's a technique for you to overcome that challenge. So when I do an event, I look, actually, I peek behind the stage, backstage, and look who do I expect to see when I'm out there. So as I will be ready to face them. So that's what I do. So when I see those intimidating people, I tell myself, watch out, these people will clap. So instead of feeling anxious, I actually create that challenge in me to do something about it and make sure that these people will clap for me, because there's a reason why you're up there on stage and not them, you know? And it's your responsibility to actually prove to the audience and the people around you that you're worth their time and that you are there for the reason or the purpose of entertaining them, or to, you know, because you're responsible on how to improve their day as well. So all of them made time to sit and watch you, and you have to make sure that they come out and go home feeling that it was worth their time being there looking at you. So there. Another part, another tip is to always have a winning attitude. Winning attitude meaning to say that in any adversity or in any situation, you have to think that, you know, every failure is an opportunity for us to also learn. And but then even if you lose, for example, a lot of my students, they don't want to try joining a competition, for example, because they don't like the feeling of losing. So I always tell them that it's actually not like, for example, those who are into beauty pageants, it's actually not about the crown that will make you a winner. It's what you do out of the entire journey of the competition, what you do out of that experience after. That's what makes up a winner. So I always tell them that once you try and, you know, you decide to be part of such competition, everything will make you step ahead from those who didn't try, because all of the things that you've learned out of the competition has a lot of has equipped you so much that you know, these are the things that you learn not from the books but through experience. So those people who haven't tried anything, who are just stuck at home and, you know, not trying to go out there and learn some new skill, that's their loss. So you are constantly conquering different challenges in your life, and you're constantly growing. That's what makes you a winner. And that's what I did. When I was modeling, I always told myself, is there more to me than just this? Because I was doing modeling at the same time I was also studying. I always constantly have that growth mentality, and I always want to see what's next of me. I think I've had enough of modeling, and I think I've already honed this particular skill. I think there's more. I give room now for my weaknesses to be conquered. So I always find my, you know, those lists that you have listed, try to conquer them one at a time. So once you conquer it and then put it on the things to celebrate, that's what I do always. So after conquering hosting, I also want to ask myself, okay, what's next? What are other skills that I need to work on, or perhaps to awaken so as I can do more? Because trust me, you're bound to be limitless. You're bound to have a long resume. You're bound to do so much things in life. It's up for you to discover that. May it be in talent or in anything. So here are the top 3 things, or actually the basic steps in order to gain confidence as well. So again, remember the grow principle. So go out there and try. R stands for repeat until you get it. O, overcome those challenges. And W, winning attitude always. All those skills now you are acquiring it in number one because you are already knowledgeable on my tips that I gave you. I hope you won't forget it, and I hope you will keep those in mind and by heart. Now, for you to gain the skill, you have to now act upon all those potentials that you have. Because trust me, potential will remain a potential unless you act upon it. So when you submit yourself and you pass it down to your body and you really do something, take action, and you cultivate that skill, then you are now very skilled and you are now ready. You're now prepared. Now, number three is important because your attitude or your behavior is what will, what do you call this? What will be your strategy in order to win and in order to conquer your struggles or in order to face your fears. So, for example, you have been studying in college, for example, what course, whatever course you have been studying, but then you don't have that attitude. You of course you have learned all the skills, what it is to be a doctor, what it is to be a nurse, what it is to be a teacher, everything other and other kind of courses, but then you don't have the attitude to go out there and get job interviews. Because I always tell my students that opportunities doesn't come knocking at your door. You're supposed to be the one to chase them. So having that attitude can really change everything, because it's not enough that you have the knowledge, it's not enough you have the skill. It's important that you also have the right attitude in facing all those different challenges. So also, apart from that, it's not important that you have the talent, because talent will put you up there. All the skills will put you up there. But what keeps you from doing all the things is really the right attitude. And I'm talking about, proper values like respect to the people you work with. And I tell my students this, that even the makeup artists, you have to be nice to them, because you'll never know. You could be the people who will link you, because everyone that you connect yourself with is actually your network. You have to constantly build your own network as well. And the more network you develop, or the more network you have, the more people remember you, and the more people will pass it on to other people, and they will remember how good you are in terms of how you interacted with them. And yeah, they will remember your set of skills, and they can recommend you. And that's really one of the things that are very important as well, that you deal in every opportunities, always come in with the right attitude. Because like in modeling, it's not enough that you look good, but then you don't really have that good attitude. I mean, it's easy to spread. People will always hear na, uy, she's pretty, but I don't like working with her. I mean, you don't want that to happen. So attitude is really very important. All right, I guess let's see, what time is it? Okay, I'll leave you guys with this quote by John Reynolds. Self-confidence is not taught or learned. It is earned by surpassing your own self-limitation. So today, I hope you've learned something from me. But at the end of the day, you can, grasp and absorb everything. But it all boils down to you doing it. And, your future lies in your hands. And I wish you all the best. And I hope that you will pursue whatever it is you want to pursue and be the self you've always wanted to be. Just believe in yourself, and anything is possible. So that ends my my topic for today. It's actually very basic, but it's very essential. So I hope you've learned from me today, and I hope it was worth your while.